Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be giving you something new to enjoy. What if Naruto had the god of speed, Bloodline, guys? Yes, watch as Naruto awaken a bloodline that makes him move faster than any human and shinobis alike. He's going to become the god of speed. So sit back, relax, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. And don't forget to go ahead and support the original. Link down in the description if you want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, guys. And also stay tuned for a brand new episode coming on Anime Symbol, and I do hope that you guys enjoy it. If you want to go ahead and check out the other channels, links will be down in the description as well. I have 4 more, so go ahead and enjoy those, guys. So without further ado, or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new series? Begin now, guys. Five years ago, a beast, known as the Kyuubi, had ravaged through Konoha, causing destruction and chaos in its wake. The beast had been defeated by a man, known as Minato Namikaze, the yellow flash of the hidden leaf. Since the defeat of the beast, the people started to have a celebration. When they celebrated, those that survived and they mourned the deaths of their loved ones. Everyone was enjoying the celebration except for one boy. He was running, as he was currently being chased by a group of people. They were really drunk, and when they saw him, anger resonated from them. He had no choice but to run. They started to shout at him, cursing at him for what he's done. Why are they doing this? He thought to himself. I never did anything to any of them, he thought, as he just kept on running. As the crowd got closer, one of them threw a kunai towards the boy. However, it missed, but it still grazed his arm slightly though. Panic and fear started to well up inside of him. They're actually trying to kill me, he thought, his eyes widening in fear as he moved. Unaware to him, something was stirring deep within him. As he then felt it, a strange sensation. It circled through every point of his body. It tingled through his fingers. It tingled through his legs. His chest vibrated. He did not know why, but he felt this urge that he could go faster. He was slowing down for a brief moment. Then suddenly, boom! The villagers all came to a stop. They were utterly shocked as the boy had sped off in blinding speed, leaving dust behind him. None of them could believe what just happened, but they saw it with their own eyes. As Naruto arrived at the gates, the guards were shocked upon seeing this boy arrive so fast. As he was hunched over, Naruto thought to himself. He had no idea what just happened, but he was super glad that it did. Soon as he finished that thought, he glanced up towards the sky. His eyes rolled back. One of the guards got out of the boot and caught him. As he collapsed, as he glanced over to his partner. I'm taking him to the Hokage, he said, getting a nod from his partner. Meanwhile, within the mindscape of Naruto, he found himself in a sewer. Great, he thought to himself. So they still caught me and they dumped me in a sewer, he thought, looking around, trying to find an escape hatch. That is when he heard dripping water, followed by a sound. It sounds like something really large, exhaling and inhaling. It sounded like a giant breathing, because there is no way that could be a normal human, he thought. As he looked down the hall, that is where the breathing was coming from. He shrugged. Might as well go and check it out. It might be the way to get out of here, he thought to himself. So he made his way down the corridor. He noticed red pipes. that were leaking down towards the ground. He kept on making his way until he arrived towards a massive hall. There was a gigantic cage with a ceiling marker on it. That was the word in kanji, ceiling. That is when he heard a voice. So my jailer has finally decided to pay me a little visit. Naruto looked around in fright. He then realized where it was coming from. Child, come closer, the voice said. Naruto shook his head immediately. No offense, whoever you are, but I'm not sure that's a good thing to do. As paws, with long, powerful nails, slam about 10 feet in front of Naruto. Naruto fell over as he collapsed on his butt in fright. The claws dragged along the ground as he went back in the bar. Curse this damn seal. If it wasn't for it, I would devour you. Hearing that he was safe, Naruto breathed in pure happiness, but he truly wondered what the hell was behind those bars, as all he could see was darkness, except for the claws that just slammed down. Nothing else. Dark chuckle was all over the place. That is when Naruto saw a shape take form in the darkness, and he counted 9 tails floating. Naruto fell on his butt, scared out of his mind as he started to chant, I'm so dead. I gotta get out of here. I'm so dead. The fox roared, quieting Naruto. Shut up, you insect. You're not dead. So stop being a useless blabbermouth. I've got to be dead, said Naruto. Because the fourth Hokage killed you. There is no other explanation. The fox looked at him. You foolish mortal. No mere mortal could ever kill me. The only thing your stupid species are capable of is sealing me away. And I was sealing you, you stupid brat. But mark my words. The moment I'm freed from this cage, I'll devour you. Naruto's face switched from fear to a look of absolute confusion. Well, what do you mean seal you inside of me? He said, looking up at the beast. Tell me, brat, have you ever wondered why everyone in that stupid village of yours hate and despise you? Why they attack you? Why they whisper behind your back? Naruto did not respond. A look of fear started to creep up on his face, which made the fox smile. That's because that mortal that you call the fourth Hokage sealed me inside of you. You aren't dead. This is your mind, the fox said. Naruto's eyes widened as he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Everything seemed to slam into him all at once. The beatings that he received, the names, the hostility, the glares, the whispers. Naruto clenched his fist as he got to his feet. You mean to tell me that you're the reason why my life has been so horrible? Why? Why the hell did you even come here and attack us? Answer me, Naruto yelled. The fox roared. The roar was so powerful that Naruto was blown back. Don't you dare command anything of me, you insect. I may be a prisoner here, but I am not your slave. And for why I attack your pathetic village? The fox grinned. I was bored, and I wanted to have some fun. Now get out, he roared. A wave of red energy rushed from the bars and slammed into the blonde, forcing him out of his mind. At the Hokage's office, as soon as Naruto came to, he heard two voices speaking. I swear to you, Lord Hokage, he was moving at least at Jonin level speeds before he stopped. And the moment he reached a gate, he just simply blacked out. I see. While I must admit that is hard to believe, let's just ask him what happened. He seems to be waking up. As Naruto pulled himself up, the man that he started to see as a grandfather was right there, as the gate guard from before hung back. Hirashin knelt down in front of Naruto. You gave us a bit of worry, Naruto, he said. How are you, he asked. Well, my legs does feel a bit tingly, like I've been running for a long while, but I feel okay. Hirashin nodded. Speaking of running, Kitetsu here said that you ran towards the gate at pretty impressive speeds. Do you mind telling me what happened, he said. I am not sure what happened. One moment a few people were chasing me. And then I felt this strange burst of energy like I could go faster. And then I was at the gate. And I blacked out. Sarutobi raised the eyebrow as he thought to himself. Could he really have unlocked the bloodline so young? I thought. It wasn't supposed to happen until he was 15 or 16. It must have been because of the pressure, he thought to himself. Old man. As he blinked as Naruto had called out to him. Yes, Naruto. Was there something else that you need to tell me? Hirashin asked. There was this look on Naruto's face like he wanted to say something, and he wasn't sure if he should say it or not. As Naruto nodded, his voice was unsure. When I passed out, I woke up in a sewer, and I met the Kyuubi, he said. Hirashin glanced up as Kitetsu's eyes went wide. At least, I think I did. Maybe it's just one crazy dream, Naruto said. Hirashin turned his gaze towards Kitetsu. Kitetsu, you are dismissed. And I don't believe I need to tell you that. You should keep what you heard in this office to yourself. As Kitetsu bowed his head, as he proceeded to leave the office, the Hokage had gave him a certain look that he understood all too well. Hirashin then proceeded to release a breath, a heavy breath, as he knew what was coming. Naruto, he said, there's a lot that we need to talk about. First off, that wasn't a dream. Unfortunately, nothing that we could do could kill the Kyuubi. The beast was a form of solid chakra. Therefore, the only thing the fort could do was seal the beast away inside of you, giving his life up in exchange. As Naruto's eyes were wide as he looked at the man. However, we have something more important to discuss. You remember that feeling of being able to run so fast that you talk about? As Hirashin took out a pipe, as he placed some tobacco inside before he lit it, he took a draw. That was your bloodline limit, he said. Naruto's eyes were wide in shock. It wasn't supposed to happen until you were 16, but it seems the stress of the situation prematurely activated. I was going to tell you about your parents then. However, with your bloodline limit being activated, I see no point of keeping it a secret anymore. My parents? But you told me that you could not find anything about them, said Naruto. Hirashin released a breath. You have to know, Naruto, he said. Your parents had so many enemies, and if word of you being their children ever got out, they will stop at nothing to harm you. So until you're able to properly defend yourself, you're gonna have to keep this a secret, understood? Naruto really wanted to know who his parents were, so he nodded his head. Firstly, your bloodline does not have an official name, but your father called it the Slipstream. Time skip. 7 years later, the main gate of the Hidden Leaf. Both Kitetsu and Izuma were drifting off. It was a really boring day, and it was rather peaceful and quiet. That is when a voice spoke up. You know, sometimes I really wonder, do you guys ever stay awake for your whole shift? Or are you two being paid just to sleep? Because that would be a wonderful job. They glanced up to see the 12-year-old blonde as he was signing the check-in sheet. Kitetsu smiled with his eyes closed. Well, I see that someone is jealous that they don't have as easy a job as us. Isn't that right, Kitsune? He said, glancing towards the blonde. Said blonde simply looked at him. Whatever, he said, with a smirk. With that he vanished, like he was never there. You know, no matter how much time I see him do that, I still think that he's just disappearing, Izuma said. Yeah, said Kitetsu as he leaned back, and he closed his eyes. A far distance away in the village, Naruto reappeared right in front of his apartment, like he just materialized out of nothing, as he pulled out his keys. You know, it's really good that no one lived up here. Otherwise, I will have to answer a lot of questions about just blinking in and out, he thought to himself. Once he was inside, he made his way towards a closet. As he placed the pack inside, as he pulled out a scroll out of the side pocket. He then proceeded to change into his orange jumpsuit and hang up his other uniform in the back. As he untied the headband before he placed it in a secret compartment, as he closed it, with that, he blinked away. It was almost like he was teleporting for real, but it was not teleportation. Meanwhile, Hokage's office. Hirashin was facing the most dangerous threat that he's ever faced since becoming Hokage. It was none other than paperwork. One of the most grave and dangerous threats known to any Kages. As he signed another form, he did not even look up. I take it the mission was a success, he said. It was a smooth, in and out operation. The bandits were all eliminated. In the report I stated what was stolen. As Naruto placed a scroll in front of Hirashin, as it was just going to be more paperwork for him, even though he was glad that the mission was completed. Without a hitch, Hirashin decided to get to the real matters at hand. So you believe that Mizuki will finally take the bait this year? As Naruto sat down, he's getting really impatient. However, I believe that he will take the bait at this graduation. He probably figured since it's been 3 times now, I'll be desperate enough to do whatever he asks without too much question. Like they say, 3rd time's a charm. However, if he still does not go for it, I say that we should just send him to Ibiki, regardless of what happened. Because I'm telling you right now, I cannot stay there for another year. I can't tell you how much time I wanted to wipe that smug smirk off the Uchiha's face. Hirashin nodded. I know it's been hard for you, Naruto, he said. But look on the bright side. We do this right, and you most likely won't have to deal with young Sasuke or any of your other classmates for a very long time. As Naruto nodded. Yeah, you're right about that. However, there was a few nice people there, such as Hinata. She was really nice, he said. Tell you what though, I'm really glad that I don't have to deal with Haruna anymore and pretend like I liked her. You know, that girl, it's really hard. I wonder if she's related to Lady Tsunade in any way, Naruto said. As he got to his feet. Well, see you later, old man, he said. Wait, actually, I have another mission for you. I think you're going to enjoy this one. As he tossed Naruto a scroll as Naruto caught it, there was a smirk on Naruto's face. You know, you're right about that. I am going to enjoy this. Take a look outside tomorrow when the shouting begins. I'm looking forward to it, Hirashin said. The next morning, Hirashin heard the commotion outside as he turned his gaze, looking forward at the statue of the Hokages. The 4th Hokage head had 2 fingers and a peace sign over his head. The other Hokages had makeup on with an exasperated look on their face. On the top of it read, "The Hidden Leaf #1 prankster strike again." However, that was not actual paint though. It was actually genjutsu. As Naruto was standing there, a team of Anbu started to chase him. He jumped down as he started to run. For the next 3 hours they chased him, as they did not even realize that the boy was not getting tired in the slightest. Sometime later, Naruto was at the Hokage's window as he went through hand sign, as the painting seemed to eviscerate. Aruka was also in the office as he was surprised. You actually told him to do that, Lord Hokage. Did you really think I would do something like that without the old man go ahead? What do you take me for, Aruka? An academy student, Naruto said. Aruka simply shook his head. He was one of the few that was in on the big secret that was Naruto Uzumaki, who was far from a genin. In fact, he was a jonin. Yes, a big ruse that has been going on for some time now. A plan that the Hokage set in motion some time ago, and it has been paying off rather well. As they were leaving the office, one of the envoy that was chasing Naruto arrived. As Hirashin tossed him a scroll as he caught it. I expect to see improvements from this, Captain. We don't want enemy shinobis being able to move around that easily. Am I understood? The envoy nodded as he bowed and left the room. as Naruto and Haruka made their way. I still can't believe that the Hokage gave you a mission like that. Me either. But hey, I'm not complaining, said Naruto. As Haruka chuckled, I doubt you would. You do realize, however, in a few days, that you won't be able to do any more pranks. Naruto sighed. Don't remind me, he said. I'm going to really miss letting out some steam with some pranks. When they arrived back at the academy, Haruka grabbed some rope from the storage room and tied up Naruto as they were keeping up pretenses. All the students laughed when they saw him tied up, as Naruto was cursing as he was being dragged by Haruka. Haruka told them that they were all getting a quiz, as all the students groaned. Once Naruto was free, he sat down. This is such a drag. Why do we have to have a quiz because you didn't come on time? Shikamaru said, as Naruto merely shrugged. The test was on the transformation jutsu. When it was finally his turn, Naruto got to the front, as Naruto briefly considered pulling a prank on Haruka, but considering that he was coming to the end of his undercover mission, he decided to give Haruka a break. As Naruto transformed into a perfect copy of Haruka, Haruka nodded as Naruto dropped the transformation. Alright class, Haruka said. Since the final examination is tomorrow, I'm giving you guys the rest of the day off so that you guys can prepare for it, he told them. If any of you need some last minute practice for the kunais and shuriken throwing tests, I'll be at the range, he told them. Other than that, I wish you all good luck and I'll see all of you tomorrow, he said. Naruto made his way with Haruka at the target range. As some of them followed, the others made their way off. Haruka and Naruto stood to the distance watching the children. So what do you think of their chance during the exams, Haruka asked, Naruto in a low voice so that no one could hear them. Well, as far as I can tell, none of them should have a problem with the final test. As for the actual final test with their sensei, that depends on who they get as a sensei. Considering that, their tests all might be similar, but in their own way it's kind of different, said Naruto. Do you have any idea on the team placement yet? Well, I have a few. The third is hoping for the Inoshikacho team, given that all of them takes well after their parents. And Hinata, Shino, and Kiba will make a wonderful tracking team. Everyone else will be grouped in by grade, and those who can work together. What about the Uchiha and the Haruno? It's obvious that they will be together since they're the top two in the class. As sad as that is for her. But who are you going to place on that team? I am really not sure. If you weren't on their cover and your grades were an actual representation of what you can do, you will be perfect for that team. However, now I'm not so sure. Well, that's actually a blessing for me, said Naruto, as he looked toward the students. The Hokage might have an idea though. Time skip. Finals. Everything was coming along great. As Naruto had played dumb, Mizuki had used Genjutsu on his tests, using chakra to divert his kunais and shurikens. Haruka was well aware of that. However, he kept his calm. Now it was Naruto's turn, as he proceeded to fail when he came towards the clone jutsu. Haruka sighed. I'm sorry, Naruto, he said, but you failed. He hung his head in disappointment. Sometime later, as Naruto was making his way, Mizuki caught up to him. Mizuki-sensei, said Naruto, I think I have a way for you to become a genin. Sometime later, farce. Mizuki was making his way. Everything was perfect. That demon took the bait, and now it was time. As he came across Naruto. Ah, Naruto, I see you have the scroll, he said. As he started to walk closer, he was going to take him down one hit. Were you able to learn anything from it, he asked. Yeah, said Naruto. Want to see? As he brought his hand together, performing something that he could do for some time now. As 20 copies of Naruto appear around Mizuki, surprising the man. All of them started to smirk as Naruto reached and pulled out his headband and applied it. Mizuki, as a jonin of the Hidden Leaf Eye, was ordered to bring you in for questioning. But now, your motives are straightforward. Stealing a scroll of sealing. Mizuki started to laugh. That's funny, you demonic brat. Huh. I must admit, I'm surprised that you were able to perform a genjutsu on this level. But, calling yourself a Jonin, how stupid can you be? As Naruto smirked, well, actually, I am a Jonin, but someone as yourself would not know about that. That's the whole point of undercover, said Naruto. He blurred out of sight. Mizuki cried out in pain as he felt something on his back. Another pain went through his back once again, as his screams echoed through the entire forest. Mizuki's clothes had been burnt around the back in a cross shape. A blood-curdling scream left his lips once again, as a burn appeared running down his right arm, another down his left arm, one down his leg. Mizuki screamed until he could no longer scream. The pain was too much as he proceeded to pass out because of the pain. As Naruto reappeared, with his hands covered by chakra in a thin shell, as Naruto dropped the chakra technique and made his way over towards the traitor. He pulled out ninja wire as he started to tie up the traitor. Once he was done, he took the scroll from his clone as he dispelled the 20 clones. With that, he proceeded to bring the traitor towards the Hokage. For some time now, Naruto has been a Jonin. He's been undercover to keep up pretense. Naruto still went to the academy. However, most of the time when he was skipping, he wasn't actually skipping, he was on missions. Haruka was well aware of that. Hirashin is trying to keep Naruto as hidden for as long as possible. But with him graduating now, well, the false graduation, things were going to become more public. There was still many people out there that was after him. Well, not him exactly, but the relation between Minato and Kushina, to be quite exact. Naruto's code name in the world was Kitsune. However, he has not done any mission outside of Land of Fire, so majority of the people outside did not know of him. He also had a few techniques under his belt. He already had the Shadow Clone Jutsu, so he did not need to learn it from the scroll. As for his bloodline, it was from his father. There was a reason why no one could ever crack the secret of the Hirashin. The technique was created some time ago. However, Minato used it as a way to hide his true bloodline back then. A reason why people feared him so much. It was just his speed alone. As for the kunais that he used, it was more like a beacon to tell him where to go when he activated his bloodline. There was a reason why Hirashin had promoted Naruto to Jonin in such a short period. The bloodline was no joke, and with it, the world would soon know the name Naruto Uzumaki or, well, his codename, Kitsune. Time skip. Naruto was in the Hokage's office. It has been a few days since he had dropped off Mizuki. They had taken him towards Ibiki. So, mind telling me who will be picked for the cut, Naruto asks. Hirashin was going over the teams. The Inoshika-cho would make one great team. He's also considering the Hinata, Kiba, and Shino team under Kunai. His son will be testing the Inoshika-cho. As for Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and a kid named Sai. As Naruto looked towards him, wow. You say that like you believe that Uncle Kakashi is going to pass a team. Hirashin gave Naruto a look as Naruto seemed surprised. It's must gonna be snowing in the sand very soon. Wait, who is this Sai individual? I have no idea who that is. Hirashin Sai, he's one of Danzo trainees. I have discussed this, and he said that he will be a good balancer for the team. He is far more capable than young Sakura and even better than young Sasuke as well. Naruto frowned hearing that name. This was not the first time that name has been brought up, and it wasn't one time that the man tried to approach Naruto. Suddenly, Naruto said something as a little kid came running inside. "Old man, it's the day I will defeat you," he said. However, the kid tripped over his own scarf and collapsed on the ground. as he seemed really embarrassed. That is when he turned towards Naruto. You tricked me, he said. Admit it. As Naruto looked over towards Hirashin, who shook his head and sighed. So this must be his grandson, Konohamaru. I was wondering when I was going to meet him. As Naruto walked forward and knelt down in front of the boy. The next moment, the shuriken was gone from Konohamaru's hand. However, he did not even notice. First of all, this scarf is too long, said Naruto. You either stop wearing it or get a smaller one. Or wait until you're a bit taller. Secondly, said Naruto as he held up the shuriken. You were holding this completely wrong. If you hold it that way, you're likely to cut your hand open before even reaching your enemies. And third, were you really trying to take on the Hokage with a full-on charge? First of all, he's really stronger than you, and you did not even try to sneak up on him. You just rushed inside. Honorable grandson, are you in here? A voice said, cutting Naruto off. The door opened to show a man with shades. As he noticed Naruto, he stiffened a bit. Hello, Uzumaki, he said, as Naruto narrowed his gaze towards the man. Naruto saw how he stiffened, but he did not bother with it. Ebisu, I take it that this kid is your charge, Naruto said. That's right. I was handpicked by Lord Hokage to train his honorable grandson. Why the hell do you keep on calling him that? Doesn't he have a name? Said Naruto. As Ebisu was going to say something, but Konohamaru was in shock to the question that Naruto just asked. As Naruto picked himself up, if you need me, old man, I'll be at that training field. With that, he proceeded to disappear. Konohamaru snapped his gaze towards his grandfather. How did he do that? He said. Well, Naruto is a very fast person, Konohamaru, Hirashin said with a smile, as Ebisu pushed up his glasses. Be that as it may, I still believe that he's too young to be a Jonin, Lord Hokage. The look on Konohamaru's face was one of pure shock as he heard that. Him? A Jonin? Already? As Hirashin looked towards him, there has been several others that made Jonin at that age, he said. As Ebisu frowned at the thought, with all due respect, Lord Hokage-sama, but one of those has went insane and killed off almost all of his clan, and the other has turned into a perverted delinquent who has no sense of time. Well, that is true, but I don't think we have to worry about Naruto going down any of those paths, especially the untimed one, Hirashin said. It's hard to be late for anything when you can get across the village in 5 seconds. Ebisu was going to say something as Hirashin spoke. He's gone, you know. As Ebisu looked down, his eyes widened. Time skipped sometime later. Konohamaru was tired. However, he finally found him after searching through the training fields. He was lucky that he got that tip. You know, if you want to speak to me, you're gonna have to stop hiding. Konohamaru came out of his hiding spot. It seems like he was already busted. Hey, how did you know I was there? I thought my hiding skills were great. Maybe for someone that has not been in the academy yet. But once you go to the academy, you will learn that you have to keep your chakra hidden as well. So what do you need? Teach me. Teach you? What do you mean by that? I want you to teach me. I want you to become my teacher. You said it yourself in there. You asked if I had a name. No one ever does that. They always call me Honorable Third or the Hokage grandson. I want for them to know my real name, not just as a link to the Hokage. After all, if I'm going to become Hokage one day, I need to become as strong as ever. Is that so? Said Naruto. So you want recognition. You want people to know who you are instead of what they see you as. Exactly. And you're the only one I believe can help me to reach my dreams. As Naruto smiled at him. Tell you what, I'll teach you. Konohamaru's eyes had star inside of them as Naruto motioned for him to come forward. He plucked out 2 kunais. It was like they materialized out of nowhere. That is when Konohamaru noticed that it was the kunais that were in the tree, as he wasn't even able to see the movement. Just how fast was he? A week later, the class asked about Mizuki. They expect to see him here, as today was the graduation day after all. As Haruka told them about what happened, many of them were shocked as they couldn't believe what they just heard. As for Naruto, he stuck to his promise as he started to train Konohamaru a bit. Ebisu came upon the training session, and he saw that it was doing Konohamaru so well, because the boy was actually smiling. He never smiled when he was training him, as he had made sure Naruto saw him, although Naruto already knew that he was there. He then gave him a nod and took off. Currently though, Haruka was telling his students about what happened. They were shocked as Naruto came in the class. "What are you doing here, dead lass? This is for only people that pass the test." Most of the people agreed as Hinata looked at Naruto in hope, praying that he somehow passed. As Naruto pointed at his forehead, "You should really mind how you talk to your superiors, Inuzaka. I was under orders for the past 3 years to watch that traitor and then take care of him. Now I'm not in the mood to deal with some fresh, out of the academy rookie who can't accept the fact that someone was working undercover." The whole class was stunned, as they cannot really understand what the hell was going on, as Naruto was acting so different now. That is when majority of them noticed that he was not wearing the orange jumpsuit, but he was wearing a Jonin vest. Naruto then handed Haruka a scroll. "The Hokage wants you to go over this when you have some free time." Haruka nodded. "Thank you, Naruto," he said, as he placed the scroll in his jacket. That is when Naruto gave the class a salute, before he vanished like he was never there. The class started to shout questions towards the man. "Alright everyone, calm down," he said, as he looked towards all of them, knowing that this was going to come sooner or later. Sometime later, Hinata was sitting down. She was eating her lunch, as she was actually thinking about Naruto. "Mind if I sit here for a moment?" Her eyes went wide and her cheeks turned red. As Naruto was standing there, she nodded her head as he sat down. "I want to thank you, Hinata," he said. For what?" she asked, a bit confused. "Well, despite my idiot persona, you were the only one that treated me like an actual classmate," Naruto said. "I can't tell you how many times I want to say hell with my mission and just show them all what I can really do, especially that damn Uchiha. And you are a big help with that. That is why I want to tell you something," said Naruto as he looked directly at her. She kept her gaze locked with his. "I know that you have some confident issues." She looked down as Naruto used his hand to make her gaze meet his once again. "But believe it or not, you're a fantastic kunoichi." That made her blush. "Your only problem seemed to be you're afraid of what others are going to think of you. Anyway, here's my advice. When there's something that you have to do in front of someone, just forget about them. I just want you to focus on yourself and believe in yourself, because it doesn't matter how hard it seems, you can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. That is the only thing that is holding you back. Forget about your clan, forget about everyone. Stop thinking about anyone holding you back. Just focus at the task at hand, and I'm sure that you will do wonderful. Understood?" Hinata nodded her head as Naruto smiled as he got up. "I need to get going now, but if you ever need some help," said Naruto, "you can come and talk to me, okay? If you can't find me, ask Hokage, okay?" "Thank you," she said to him, a smile on her face. "No problem. See ya," he said, as he disappeared. Her hair was blown back, as she was surprised. He was so amazing. Time skip. 1 month later, Konohamaru and his 2 friends Mogi and Udon were currently being taught by Naruto. That is when a bird circled overhead, as the bird cawed. As the kids lost their focus as Naruto glanced up, he told them that was it for today. It seems like he was being called. They seemed rather disappointed. However, he told them that he'll meet up with them soon. The next moment, Naruto was at the Hokage's office. "You summoned me, sir," he said. Hirashin nodded. Team 7 was sent on their first C rank today. to escort a client back to his home, the Land of Wave. Originally, the mission was to protect him from bandits and stay there until a bridge was completed. However, the client lied about who will be after him, and the team ran into a couple of Chunin level ninjas. Kakashi decided to go ahead with the mission because of extreme circumstances. He has requested backup though, and I'm sending you. You are to leave immediately. Expect enemy shinobis possible. Chunin level ninjas. Any questions? As Naruto shook his head. Once Naruto had everything he showed, Kitetsu and Izumo the mission scroll as he signed out. With that, he took off. His speed, shooting through the gates and making his way down. The Bloodline slipstream was actually very complex. You see, Minato Bloodline made him move extremely fast. Insanely, however, at the speeds that he was moving at, he usually gained tunnel vision, which was very dangerous to use in a combat situation. So, what he did was apply a tiny bit of his chakra in the seal on the Hirashin kunai in order for him to stabilize himself. As I said before, it was used as a beacon for him. Naruto, on the other hand, had no such kunais. However, he had something much better. Well, his status as a Jinchuriki. Naruto had 3 times the amount of Minato, maybe vastly more. However, because he was a Jinchuriki, he had a massive surge of chakra, which he used to control his speed by using a sonar ability. He called it chakra sonar, which would tell him real-time specifics. He's been using it for some time now, and it was able to help him. He can use the technique for hours on end. So with that, it made for one scary-ass shinobi that even Minato would be afraid to fight. However, a person could tell that he was in the room because of his chakra, even if they could not see him. If a Hyuga, on the other hand, tried to focus on him with his chakra going full blast, they would be blinded instantly because of the amount of chakra that he used. Not to mention, he has grown with his sensory ability over the past couple of years, as Naruto could now sense Kakashi. Hold on, Uncle Kakashi, I'm coming. As he blasted off even more, trees were blown as he pushed past them. Kakashi, on the other hand, was fighting Zabuza until he got captured in a spear of water. He yelled at his team to run, to get out of there. Zabuza water clones could not go far away from the caster. As Zabuza smirked, that is when his clones, poof, burst into water. Zabuza screamed out as he felt a burning sensation on his hand. Suddenly, he was kicked away hard. He was then blasted as he bounced across the water 5 times before he started to sink. Kakashi stopped himself by applying chakra to his hands. As he looked up when he heard a voice. Hey, Uncle Kakashi, how many times do I have to say they're bacon, huh? Over to the other side, Sasuke and Sakura had no clue what the hell was going on. One moment Kakashi was telling him to flee immediately. The next moment, Zabuza water clones were gone completely. And then he was blasted away. He then started to sink. Suddenly, someone materialized out of thin air. When Sai saw the individual, he knew who it was. His master had gave him information on this individual. Kakashi started to get to his feet. As Naruto asked if he was alright, he simply nodded. Suddenly, a massive water dragon emerged from the water and crashed down on the two. Sakura's eyes went wide until she saw Kakashi safely next to them, along with the blonde-haired boy. His back was turned. Zabuza came out of the water. I have to say, that was a pretty good shot there, brat. And what the hell did you do to my arm? It really hurts. But there's no way a runt like you can stand up to me. Still, I'm curious. What's your name? He asks. My name is unimportant, Broly, said Naruto. However, my codename is Kitsune, though some others has been calling me Flash Fire. Zabuza watched as the boy vanish. He then started to sense a lot of chakra through the air. It was concerning. It was like him using a hidden jutsu, but 10 times worse. Sakura had realized who it was. Once he had spoke, she couldn't believe this. Was all this Naruto? How could he have so much chakra? Her mind had tried not to believe that Naruto was this awesome, super cool person, but it seems she was wrong. He was. Sasuke, on the other hand, clenched his fist tightly. How the hell does a dope have so much chakra? How much was he actually holding back this entire time? I should be the one to have that power, not him. Sai, on the other hand, remained quiet, observing the potential of the boy. Danzo Sama had said that he had the potential to be far better than the fourth, and they should consider themselves lucky if they get to see him within action. Tazuna was shocked, given what that man had been going through a moment ago with the leader of the group, which was Kakashi, and now this boy just arrived and was making things look really easy. As Kakashi stood there, this was not his first encounter with Naruto, as he had taken a real liking to the boy. The thing was, he did not believe that he needs to enter this fight now, but he would be there as backup for his sensei's son. You know, there are 4 types of burns: 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd, and 4th. Which one would you like for me to give you today? The voice was taunting, and it was starting to piss Zabuza off until he screamed out in pain as a 2nd degree burn appeared on his chest. As Naruto was moving with speed when he moved his arm across his enemies, it caused burns. He could control it by the amount of speed that he was going. You know, you should really wear a shirt. Not that it would matter. Zabuza screamed out once again, reaching around his back. He spun his blade and sliced at mid-air. There was nothing there though. When they turned, there was now 5 burn marks on his back. As the man howled out in pain, he dropped down to one leg, grabbing the other leg. He screamed out in rage. What the hell are you? What's the matter? I thought you were the Zabuza Mamakai, the master of the silent killing technique. What? You can't find one kid? Zabuza was getting more and more pissed off by the taunting, and his whole body was in pain. That is when he was hit to the right, and then to the left, and then up in the sky, then down below, then to the right and the left. This kept on for a minute before he was blasted in a tree. Zabuza collapsed, blisters and burn marks all over his body as he was in agony. That is when Naruto materialized in front of him. What are you? He said. Your worst nightmare. Naruto turned his gaze as he watched 2 needles making their way towards Zabuza's neck. He then looked up in the tree as he saw someone standing there. So you're finally making your move, huh? As Naruto decided to just relax, the needles hit Zabuza in the neck as he collapsed. You took your sweet little time, huh, Hunter Nin? That is when a boy no older than Naruto, it seems, leaped down. However, it was hard to give a specific on the gender, as the person was wearing a mask. Kakashi was surprised. He could understand Naruto being a Jonin at his age because of his bloodline, but for a Miss Shinobi to be a Jonin at that age, how strong was he? Sasuke was pissed off. More and more people his age were showing up, and they were being stronger than him. He was angry. The ninja bowed their head in apology. I apologize. Telling Naruto that they've been searching for Zabuza for some time now, and they were going to intervene, but it seems like Naruto had it all handled. So they simply waited, as Naruto merely shrugged it off. They were going to dispose of the body. They propped the body up and proceeded to disappear. Kakashi slumped a bit. I'm glad that's over, he said. So, that thing is still draining you as badly? Naruto asked. The fight wasn't that long, so I'll be fine, said Kakashi. It would have been worse if I had to use it for a prolonged period, he told Naruto. I guess we're going to your house, old man, Naruto said, as Tazuna nodded. Alright, lead the way. Hey, Naruto. Said Naruto as he turned towards Sakura, who had spoken. What exactly did you did back there? I mean, you just disappeared and reappeared. I didn't see exactly what you were doing in Zabuza, was crying out so loudly, as Naruto wondered if he should just ignore her. Consider how badly she had treated him in the past. However, that was just a persona, but still. However, the Uchiha also seemed to be rather interested, and a part of him wanted to make the Uchiha know that he was better than him. However, Naruto has really grown up since becoming a Jonin. He just sighed and decided to tell anyway. It's pretty simply actually, Haruno, he said. I was merely moving faster than the human eye could see. Those burn marks that appear on Zabuza was the friction from me pressing my fingers against him because of my super speed. As for why he was flying around all that much, it was because I was hitting him with my fists. She was confused. Wait, if those burn marks are results from friction, why aren't your fingers burned? And a matter of fact, how did your fingers burn Zabuza's entire arm? You know, for the smartest girl in the class, you really don't think, said Naruto. Now let me ask you, what is the thing that shinobis use that separate us from civilians? Naruto asks. She understood, but she then frowned. By the way he said it, but she refrained from doing anything though. You still did not answer the other question, she said to him. It's simple. Instead of my fingers those 2 times, I simply rubbed my hand down his arm, said Naruto. She looked away. She should have thought of that. Sasuke the entire time was trying to glare a hole right through Naruto's skull, with the way he was looking at him. Dope. How did you get so much power, he said. Naruto turned his gaze towards him. Watch your tone, rookie, he said. I've been an actual shinobi far longer than you have. That is why the Hokage chose me to go on an undercover mission, not you. Sasuke bit down so hard on his own teeth, it seems like they were about to shatter. Answer me, he said. Sasuke, that's enough. Naruto here is a Jonin of the Hidden Leaf, a superior officer, so you will not disrespect him. Am I clear? Kakashi asks. Sasuke looked away as he grunted out. Yes, sensei, he said. The trip back was pretty much quiet, as everyone was reeling from the recent information. And because of Kakashi speaking to the Uchiha that way, he simply remained quiet for the entire trip back. It did not take too long for them to finally arrive at the house, as Tazuna, lovely daughter, came out to greet them all. Her name was Tsunami. Kakashi was a bit fatigued after the battle, even though it wasn't too long. The Sharingan really sucked, well, in terms of sucking out his energy, so he went to relax. He didn't even have to ask. It seems that Naruto already know. Naruto had saw the needles going for the pressure point. However, he was curious. It turns out the hunter was an accomplice of Zabuza. But Naruto did not fear Zabuza in the slightest. But it seems like he had more help. That was a lot of information to know, to draw out all the help that he had. And even though that was the case, Naruto did not like to kill for no reason. And if this Gato individual was truly the one employing them, if Gato was out of the picture, that meant they weren't going to come after the family, correct? However, Kakashi needed some help in order to train the Genins, and Naruto will be the best person to help him with that. When he came back downstairs, Sakura asked what was going on, and how was Sensei? He's fine, Haruno, said Naruto. Nothing a little night of rest won't fix. You guys should get some rest as well. Starting tomorrow, your real training will begin, Naruto told all of them. As he walked away, he summoned a dozen clones, spreading out half of them to go and check the perimeter, just in case this Gato individual decided to do something as come after them while they were sleeping, as Naruto would be ready. So yeah guys, I'm gonna be ending this episode right here. If you want to see next part, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. A new episode will be coming on Anime Symbol, so stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right out of here? See you guys soon. Peace, guys.